Have you ever been in a conversation and you're following along perfectly, understanding every single word, but then it's your turn to talk and just crickets? Nothing comes out. It is one of the most frustrating feelings for anyone learning a new language, and today we are going to show you exactly how to fix it. Okay, let's get into it. Right? You can binge watch an entire series in your target language, you get all the jokes in a podcast, you can even read a news article. But the second someone asks you a simple question, your brain just goes completely blank. If that sounds like you, I need you to hear this. You are not alone. This is the most common wall every language learner hits, and in this explainer, we're going to give you a ladder to climb right over it. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get right to the heart of the problem. Why this gap even exists. Then, we're going to build up your skills, starting with writing and then moving to speaking, using AI as our personal coach. And finally, we'll talk about the real reason we're doing all this. And trust me, it's probably not what you think. So why does this happen? It feels so personal, right? Like it's some kind of complex failing on our part. But the real reason is actually shockingly simple. And I promise, once you see it, you will never look at language learning the same way again. It all boils down to these two little words: input and output. Input is all the stuff you take in, listening to music, watching videos, reading books. Output is everything you create, speaking and writing. Now take a second and think about how you've been learning. Be honest. How many hours have you spent listening versus how many hours you've spent actually speaking? The answer to that question, well, it's the key to this whole thing. And this slide says it all. You've basically been going to the language gym and only working out one arm. Your input arm is massive, like a bodybuilder's. It can absorb anything. But your output arm, well, it's barely lifted a feather, so of course you can't speak. The good news is we just need to start a more balanced workout plan. We're going to start our output workout with writing. Now, why writing first? Because it's the perfect way to start getting your thoughts in order and building that production muscle, but without all the pressure of a real-time face-to-face conversation. Let's look at the training plan. Look, we're not about to ask you to write a novel on day one. We're going to climb this super simple 4-step ladder. Each step builds on the one before it, taking you from just one sentence all the way up to a full essay. The key here is just small, consistent steps. Step 1 is your warm-up, the very next video you watch online. It could even be this one. Just leave a comment in your target language. It doesn't have to be some deep philosophical thought, just something simple, like the example on screen. With that one little action, you're turning passive watching into active creating. It's a tiny step, but mentally, it's a huge shift. And listen, for these first 2 steps, commenting online and daily journaling, I want you to make me a promise. Forget about perfection. Seriously. Don't you dare open up a grammar book or look up a word. The only goal is to get words from your brain onto the screen. That's it. We're just firing up the engine right now. We can worry about steering later. Okay. Now that you're comfortable just getting your thoughts out, it's time to start refining them. For steps 3 and 4, this is where we bring in our AI writing coach. After you've written a paragraph or an essay, you're going to paste it into a tool like ChatGPT with this exact prompt. The AI won't just correct your mistakes, it'll explain why they were mistakes. This kind of personalized feedback used to be super expensive, and now you can get it instantly for free. It's a total game changer. All right, our writing muscles are warmed up. It's time for the main event, speaking. This is where the fear really kicks in, right? The fear of being judged, of messing up, of just sounding silly. Well, what if you could practice with a partner who never, ever judges you, who has infinite patience, and who's ready to talk 24/7? That's exactly where AI comes in. And just like with writing, we've got another 4-step ladder. We'll start simple, just with the mechanics of making the sounds. Then we'll mimic the prose to catch the rhythm. After that, we'll build our confidence by talking to ourselves, and finally, we'll put it all together and have a real conversation with our AI partner. Step 2 is a secret weapon used by professional interpreters and language experts. It's called shadowing, and it is incredibly powerful. All you do is find a native speaker you like, play a short clip, pause it, and then repeat exactly what they said, trying to match their tone and rhythm. You're not just learning words here, you're learning the actual music of the language. You're kind of bypassing your brain and training your mouth directly. Okay, step 3 is where I'm giving you official permission to be a little weird. You need to start talking to yourself. Out loud, in the car, while you're doing dishes, when you're making coffee. Just narrate what you're doing. Have arguments with yourself. As the slide says, you kind of got to be a little crazy. And why does this work?
because it's the ultimate zero-stakes practice. You literally can't make a mistake if there's no one there to hear it.
And that brings us to the top of the ladder, having a real conversation. All you have to do is open up an AI tool that has a voice feature, and most of the big ones do now, and just start talking. You don't need some clever opening line. Just say exactly what you want to do. And this is the magic. The AI just becomes your personal language tutor. It'll ask you questions, it'll wait patiently while you think of a response, and it will never, ever get annoyed if you need it to repeat something. This is how you build real, solid confidence. You can rack up dozens, even hundreds of hours of speaking practice in a totally safe space. So when you finally have that conversation in the real world, it feels natural, not terrifying.
So we've gone through the whole workout. We've strengthened our writing and our speaking muscles. We've used AI to coach us and practice with us. But it's worth taking a moment just to step back and ask, why are we even doing all this? What's the point?
And the answer is right here. The point of all of this practice isn't to get a perfect score on some test. It's not about having flawless grammar or knowing a million words. The reason we learn a language is to connect with other human beings, to share a story, to understand a different culture, to make a new friend. All these exercises, all this tech, they're just tools to help us build a bridge to that connection. So there you have it, the complete strategy to go from a passive listener to an active speaker. The journey doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It can start right now. That very first step on the ladder is just a few keystrokes away. So head down to the comments section and write one sentence in the language you're learning. What's it going to be?